Guys, Bulls basketball is back after a week of no games, actually 8 days. The Chicago Bulls are back in action, taking on the Philadelphia 76ers tonight. As always, I'll have a live game chat on the channel and on the Discord, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. Link is in the description below. And normally I have my Bulls weekly preview video of upcoming games on Sunday or Monday to kick off the week, but since the league was off for the whole All-Star break, I decided to hold off until today, which it seems weird to have a kickoff for the week on a Thursday, but here we are. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Bull Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Before I get into the video, in case you were curious of the results of the community poll that I put out yesterday, I'd ask you guys who you thought would see the most improvement in the second half of the season. And as you can see, with some 1,300 votes or so, most of you at 53% felt it would be Patrick Williams, followed by Coby White and Lauri Markkanen, each tied 18%, which I tend to agree with. I do think we'll see a jump from Patrick Williams as he's been starting to get more confident and more used to the pace and flow of the NBA. I would say that I think Lauri will see a jump as well, mainly just because he's been out for a while and he's going to be playing for a contract. He was also having a great season when he was healthy, and with him coming back, which it sounds like he will be coming back tonight, I do expect to see a big jump from him in the second half. Now, 9% of you said Lavine, and a couple people in the comments actually mentioned, you know, although he had a great first half, they still expect him to be the most improved in the second half because he's going to want to push for his first playoff appearance and will likely just start taking over. And I guess that is possible that, you know, we could see even more improvement from Zach, but I think given how productive he was in the first half, I tend to lean towards some of these other guys who might have started off a little bit slow and looking for a comeback in the back half of the season. But anyway, let's talk about the games for this week. So despite it being a short week, the Bulls actually have 3 games between now and Sunday. Starting off tonight against the Sixers, as I mentioned, they'll have a back-to-back in taking on the Miami Heat. We'll get to see Jimmy Butler come back to town, and then finally closing it out against the Raptors. All of these games will be played at the United Center. Now, quick player update, we are still waiting for confirmation on whether or not both Lauri Markkanen and Otto Porter will be available to play, but by all indicators, it does look positive that they will be in the lineup. Casey Johnson did put out this tweet last night in a quote from Billy Donovan where he indicated they did both practice and he feels good about their progress. It sounds like it will be more of a game time decision based on how they respond in shoot around. Again, all of this at the time of me recording this, which is earlier this morning, so I'm sure we'll be receiving updates on their statuses soon. No word yet on whether either player would be on a minutes restriction as of right now. But let's talk about the games this week, because this is going to be a challenging set of games that you're looking at in terms of these 3 opponents. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, both Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons will be out of the lineup tonight for the Sixers due to contract tracing, which is a huge break for the Bulls, and this enables them to potentially steal a game from one of the best teams in the league. But I'm not going to count this out as just a guaranteed win quite yet. I mean, the Sixers are still a decent team even without Embiid and Simmons. They have Tobias Harris, who has had a great season. There were a few people saying that, you know, he was even snubbed from the All-Star game, which I disagree with, but I can see where people are coming from. You know, he is the Sixers' second leading scorer, averaging over 20 points per game and close to 8 rebounds per game. He's been a great defender and rim protector for them as well. Not only that, but Seth Curry has been having himself a nice season with the Sixers. They've got their rookie, Tyrese Maxey, who has been a surprise for them, so this is not going to be a walk in the park for the Bulls by any means, even without Embiid and Simmons. They should still win, and I expect that they will, but they need to come out strong, stay focused, and not play down to their competition, knowing that the Sixers are shorthanded with their star players. You know, they can't get complacent, move the ball well, take care of the ball, take smart shots, and hustle on defense. I mean, that really is the case for any of the games for the Bulls, right? But I say that because we've seen the Bulls struggle when going into a game knowing that they should be winning and getting a little flustered when the opposing team starts going on a little run. We saw that with the Pelicans and the Timberwolves. Granted, they've been much better at still closing out those games, which they did for both of those. But at the same time, as a fan, it's still been stressful nonetheless when they start to falter there at the end. Now, for the Miami Heat, this was a team that had an incredibly slow start to the season after going to the finals. I do think, most people did not expect the defending East champs to be 12th in the East 2 months into the season, but they were also suffering from some injuries. I think some of it also had to do with the fact that it was a much shorter offseason for them, given the fact that they played throughout the bubble. But they have finally started finding their rhythm. They've won 7 of their last 8. And this is still a strong, well-rounded Heat team, despite their slow start. Jimmy Butler will be back in Chicago. I'm sure he'll be hungry to get a win against his former team that traded him. Bam Adebayo has been having another incredible season, another guy I wish the Bulls would have drafted. Tyler Hero, the second-year guard, started off a bit slow but has since picked it up. This will be a fun game. I'm looking forward to watching it because this is a strong defensive team, but not a great team on offense. The challenge for the Bulls is they've struggled against these elite defensive teams because they're so susceptible to turnovers. Still the worst team in the league in terms of turnovers committed, and I want to see the Bulls take this challenge head on. I want to see them go head to head against a good and elite defensive team and still get their way on offense, because we all know the Bulls are a good offensive team. The struggle is being able to get scoring going against these type of teams. The Bulls don't have to focus as much on defense against a team like the Heat, who are 26th in the league on offense. Obviously, it's still important. They need to ensure they shut down Jimmy. He's averaging over 20 points per game. I'll be curious to see if Billy Donovan will put Patrick Williams on him, or if he'll actually go with Garrett Temple. That is, if Garrett Temple is the starter tonight in case Lauri doesn't play or is on restricted minutes and doesn't go into the starting lineup. But if the Bulls can get their offense going early, starting out the game strong, not giving up any unforced turnovers, and letting the Heat's defense dictate this game, then this should be a game the Bulls can walk away from with a win. That's really what the Heat have kind of struggled with early on in the season. Was their defense was great, but their lack of scoring is what really impacted their ability to win games, and especially against strong offensive teams. Their defense was not enough to hold them at bay. Then finally, the Bulls will have a night off, and then they'll take on the Raptors on Sunday, another team that had a great year last season, but just like the Heat, really have struggled to start off this season. They have since started playing much better, having a great month of February. They are still 2 games below 500 and did lose their 2 most recent games. On top of that, the Raptors will be coming off a game the night before, traveling from Charlotte, so the Bulls should really take advantage of the fact that this team will be tired coming into the game, hit them strong to start off, keep up the pace, as the Bulls have been one of the best teams in the league in terms of offensive pace, get them tired after a night of traveling, and just take over the game. Now, I say that like it's that simple, right? Because the Raptors actually do have a great lineup. I mean, I look at the players on this roster, and it's surprising to me that their record is as low as it is. You've got great young players in Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Chris Boucher. Then you have the veteran leader in Kyle Lauri, although it's possible he might be traded before the deadline. It does seem like the talks of Lauri getting traded are heating up. I doubt by the time this game happens on Sunday, though, he'll be moved. All in all, though, I do think these are going to be a tough 3 games for the Bulls. I know with the Sixers, both Embiid and Simmons, they're out, but you can't rule out the best team in the East, and they're going to come out hungry for a win regardless. The Heat and the Raptors, I think, they're a lot better than their record implies, given their slow starts to the season. The Bulls might be fighting for a playoff spot against one of these 2 teams as well, so games like these are critical in securing a win, especially if there's a tiebreaker situation going into the playoffs at the end of the season. So as far as my predictions for these games, I want to say the Bulls are going to go 3-0 this week, because I certainly think that that's doable, given the Sixers are shorthanded, the Heat have had their struggles on offense, and the fact that the Raptors are coming off a back-to-back. But I'm going to be a little more realistic. I think the Bulls will likely go 2-1, losing to the Heat. I think the Heat are really starting to roll now. They've finally gotten healthy for the most part. I do believe Bam is day-to-day at the time of this recording anyway, but they're the defending East champs. They've got a great coach, a great leader in Jimmy Butler, so I do think the Bulls will likely fall in this game, but we should be able to take advantage of the Sixers being shorthanded and also the Raptors having played in Charlotte the night before. Let me know what you guys think, though. Do you think the Bulls can sweep these 3 games Maybe I'm being a little too optimistic, given these are all quality teams. Let me know in the comments. Like I said, I'll have a live group chat for the game tonight, so be sure to check that out. Join the free Discord with the link below. It's a great place to talk Bulls basketball, and the community continues to grow there. Be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I post daily Bulls content. Thanks again, as always, guys, for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one.